T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kush's Corner here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Tonight, I'm joined yet again by Mr. Alex Myers of Alex's Agamids, and we're going to be doing some IHS recap, Daytona preview, some breeding season talk, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Kind of a fun episode hanging out with Alex. Definitely excited to get into it. Of course, before we do that, as always, USARC. So USARC is the organization that is fighting for our rights to keep our reptiles, to run our reptile businesses, and to live this lifestyle. Check out usarc.org for everything you need to know about the organization. That website is where you can find alerts to new pieces of legislation introduced either at local levels or the national level, as well as keeping up on any pieces of legislation. usarc.org is also where you can become a member of the organization. As a community, we have strength in numbers, and the more people that are behind the cause, the better. And here we are. Thank you to everybody who is tuned in either live here on YouTube or any platform after the fact. If you are here on YouTube and you are not already, please subscribe to the channel. New podcasts come out every single day of the week here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network from some of the best hosts in the game, talking about a wide variety of reptile-related topics. So if you are a reptile podcast fan, you have most certainly come to the right place. But if you are more like myself and are an audio podcast fan, we are on all the major platforms, be that Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. You can find the Trap Talk Reptile Network. A follow and a 5-star review on any of those platforms would be most appreciated. And for everything behind the scenes that I have going on, best way to support this podcast, support what I have going on with my breeding, patreon.com/CushReptile is the place to go. Over there, 50% of all membership fee immediately becomes credit towards an animal. You also get to jump the line. So if there is a particular project of mine you've been eyeballing for a while, that's kind of the best way to ensure yourself access to that. With baby season hot and heavy right now, this is probably the best time of the year for that. So please check it out. Shout out to all the Patreon members. Got a really cool community of awesome people growing over there, and it is steadily and surely growing. So huge shout out to the Patreon members, anybody who checks it out. With that said, before we get into the episode, here is a quick word from the sponsors that make this channel possible.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Shout out to tonight's sponsor brought to you by Zoo Med.
Zoo Med is proud to be supporting the Trap Talk Reptile Network. At Zoo Med, reptiles are our passion. For over 48 years, we've been creating premium foods, supplies, and habitats for reptiles and other exotic animals. We're a company made up of hobbyists that test our products on the hundreds of animals that we care for here every single day. Whether you're an established breeder or a first-time hobbyist picking up your first ball python, Zoo Med has you covered with everything you need to keep your animals happy and healthy.
I'm excited to talk about this new product with Zoo Med called the Slither Sense. It is a remote temperature and humidifying monitoring system, which we all know how important temperature and humidity is to your reptile. And for you to have remote access to your temperature and your humidity in your reptile room could really, really be a game changer for the longevity of you keeping reptiles. So guys, make sure you check out that product. Find the link in the description below. Click on it right now. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Let me know how you're liking a brand new Zoo Med product. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, Workshop Reptilium. Josh Hansen is doing things different over in his facility. He has one of the most diverse, beautiful reptile collections currently in the reptile hobby today, but he is doing things differently when it comes to enclosures, thinking outside the box, giving these reptiles bigger enclosures. I feel like it's something this hobby needs. So a lot of exciting stuff to come from Workshop Reptilium. I'm going to be flying up to his place to give you guys a deeper look into his facility. And I'm also excited to have an episode with Josh so he can explain himself where his goals are headed when it comes to keeping. Thank you so much, Josh Hansen over at Workshop Reptilium. Make sure you head over to Instagram. Make sure you head over to Facebook. Also, make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube. You can find all the links in the description below. Again, thank you so much, Josh, over at Workshop Reptilium. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that's the one and only Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. One of the biggest exciting things about the reptile hobby over the past couple years is Morph Market Shipping taking everything to the next level. Anything as far as reptile purchasing or selling needs can all be done on Morph Market's website. So I highly suggest you go check it out, especially if you're in the market of purchasing your first, second, or third, or fourth reptile. You can find a bunch of legitimate breeders on Morph Market's platforms. They stand very tall on representing the best breeders we have in the hobby. So don't look anywhere else when it comes to looking for your new reptile. Not to mention, if you're looking for aquatics or your next plant, Morph Market's a spot for you as well. Make sure you head over to morphmarket.com. And the best thing about Morph Market's platform, you could ship directly from their website with Morph Market Shipping. Morph Market Shipping has saved this hobby millions of dollars as a whole. I myself saved thousands with Morph Market Shipping last year due to their insanely cheap rates. So definitely go take advantage of these rates on top of the amazing customer service that comes along with Morph Market Shipping. Shout out to Darian and Zach, and shout out to the entire Morph Market team. So proud to be a part of this team. Thank you so much for Morph Market Shipping and Morph Market, and so excited to announce new Morph Market features that are going to be hitting the reptile hobby real soon, like live sales on Morph Market. Thank you so much, Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
Howdy. Thanks for having me on, man. Always fun to be on Kush's corner, right?
No doubt about it. Yeah, man. I mean, we got to be in the double digits by now, right?
Oh, we absolutely are. I threw this on the Alex's Agamit's YouTube page. I have like a Kush's Corner episode playlist, and it's got all of them on there. I'll have to check it at the end of the episode. I mean, it's got to be like, I mean, we might be pushing 20. So, and you know, come next year, and I guess usually around October is when we do our 2027 breeding planner, which is kind of crazy to think that's about 2 months away. So, yeah, we usually do that right around October, Timley. So, yeah, it's been fun, man. I mean, you've been growing this this episode on the Trap Talk platform, and you should be, as always, you should be very proud. It's been fun watching you do it, and at the same time, I appreciate you letting me just come on and shoot the shit. So, yeah, super exciting. I might take over hosting duties a little bit, though. I want to hear how IHS was.
Yes. Did you go to the IHS that was in Schaumburg?
I did, yes.
Okay.
That was 23, I believe. Yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, 2022.
2022. Oh,
had to have been 2022. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. It was the year after my internship with you in Indianapolis. Now I remember. Yep. Okay.
2023 was the year that I moved, and I do not remember IHS being involved with that. So
you are correct.
Yeah, man, it was. I wanted to go to that Schaumburg one. It just, because we were vending the expo, it was like, well, how is this going to work? Like, because as you know from being around for a while back then, like, getting the whole operation prepared to leave for a weekend was a fucking ordeal. So to like spend that time at the symposium, it would have been like go up to the symposium, drive back, pack, and go right back to the same location. It just would have been too much of a logistical nightmare. So, opted for the show over the symposium, where kind of had the same struggle this past weekend, where the symposium was the same time as the Southeast Reptile Expo, which looked like a pretty fun time as well. So I'm pretty sure that Clint partly did pulled double duty. He was at IHS on Thursday, and I saw pictures of him at the Southeast show. So,
dude, that man doesn't stop though. So
no, he does not. So because I was like, man, where's Clint been the rest of the time? And I see him on Facebook, like, oh, he's in Atlanta. Got it.
Literally went from practically, eastern side of the United States or west to east in 48 hours. So
yeah. And like, for anybody who have you been to the museum before?
I have not. I missed an opportunity to go to the Chiricahua Desert Museum, but I ended up having to cancel that trip. It was with a bunch of buddies of mine because they went herping around Portal. And they invited me to tag along, and then I had some life stuff come up, and I had to completely cancel those plans. So one day I'll make it out there. There's a lot of like rattlesnake species I want to cross off my my herper life list, if you will, out there. Yeah. So I'll be back.
Which ones are those?
Huh?
Which ones are those?
I want to see willardi and calabri in the wild. Blacktails. I can't. It's funny. I was thinking about that. Like, I've seen a Sulawesi reticulated python before I've seen a western diamondback rattlesnake. Like, if you think about that, right? Yeah, and he's gone. So it's yeah. I gotta get my ass
It's one
on.
of the most insane statements I've ever heard
Oh.
in herpetoculture.
Yeah, so there you have it. Yeah, boy, melanota, gemicincta, and I missed out on jansenite, but yeah, hydrosaurus before a freaking collar lizard. Like, I can't make that shit up. So it's how it goes. You know, I had my priorities. What can I say?
True. Yeah, I mean, I've seen more western diamondbacks than I can count, but I also live in western diamondback land, so like.
Do you get them on your property? I can't believe I've never asked you.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think this area that I'm in is too recently developed. Like, the most we get for wildlife are the little like those invasive Mediterranean geckos, little house geckos.
Oh, okay.
I've seen like 4 of them around my house, and then feral cats and pigeons. That's the wildlife of my neighborhood. So I just think it hasn't been long enough for the snakes to kind of come back. So
Just throw some tin out in your backyard, or maybe not tin, some driftwood, because it's Texas.
I got some stuff in my backyard that snakes could definitely inhabit if they wanted to, and they've chosen not to. So, yeah, be nice if I could get some rattlesnakes. Might scare the damn cats away. They stalk my freaking quail like nobody's business. There was actually a period of time where the cats were winning the battle. Probably killed like 5 or 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not fun. Darn
No.
cat. You gotta get the pellet gun out, although that might be a controversial statement.
It might also be illegal in Texas. So,
Seriously?
yeah, you can't harm the cats.
Oh, wow.
And it's hard to tell sometimes if they're actually feral cats or if they're people's outdoor house cats because none of them are thin. Like, they're all chunky cats.
I mean, they're
So-
effective predators. Have you ever seen like the viral
yeah.
photos of when they catch the ones in Australia? And I mean, the cat's not flayed open, but they have like all the stomach contents from one night of hunting. I mean, it's atrocious, just like birds and all the little snakes, and that's from one night when they catch them because they're still fully formed in the stomach. They're not really digested yet, so it's unfortunate. But on a more positive note, did you do any herping at IHS?
Yes.
And did you get, well, like, how about instead of wildlife killing snakes and your quail, what did you see that was actually cool wildlife?
Yeah, no, it was an awesome time. So IHS kind of started here. Had some friends come into town, Paul Duran, his son Claude, their friend Joy, and then we met up with their friend Stephen Lewis out in Portal. So we did like a whole herp thing at the beginning. They got to check out the collection for a little while. So travel got kind of screwed up coming in. American Airlines fully shut down for a little while last Wednesday. Like, they had like some sort of like computer system malfunction and like the whole airline just shut down for like 4 or 5 hours. So Claude was originally supposed to get in early enough for us to all go cruising that night, but then it didn't work. We were going to go hiking the next morning, so we just scrapped the cruising plan. Had an awesome hike, didn't see any snakes, saw some lizards, some tree lizards, some whiptails, stuff like that. So the classic stuff around here, but then headed out to Rodeo Portal and had an Airbnb out there. Steven found a diamondback and a gopher snake right around the Airbnb, or maybe it was Mojave, either one. And then we got, I think, a couple Atrox on the road to the Airbnb, which was cool. But then the real highlight of the trip for me was seeing a couple price eye in the wild. Yeah, and I spotted the second one, so I was like, a little extra gratification there. Yeah, two beautiful individuals, and I think we were at like 7,500 feet, so it was maybe even closer to 8,000. Like it was up there, that's where price eye. I don't know if they're the highest elevation rattlesnake, but I believe in the U.S. they're the species you can find at the highest elevation. Once it gets to Mexico, there might be some fucking massively high peaks there where you still find some rattlesnakes, but you don't find them lower necessarily. Where like species like Calabri, Willardi, especially Molossus, like we could have theoretically found Molossus up where these price eye were, and then you could also get Molossus like cruising. That's what's so crazy about how much of a generalist species blacktails are, is just like the rate, like the elevation difference that they can, survive in, where price eye are much more specialized to that really, really high elevation climate. So super cool. But yeah, the price eye were the highlight of the trip, herping wise for sure. Saw lots of Atrox, saw lots of Mojaves. The last night of cruising, we actually found a Mojave prairie hybrid.
Oh,
Pretty
interesting.
cool. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Is it integrate zone population up there? Or okay.
yeah. But what's cool though is that it's not fully an integrated zone population, because we got Mojaves, probably like 5 or 6 of them, and then we got this hybrid. Because I don't know if you'd call it an integrate if you're getting the pure form of either in the
Oh,
same area,
yeah.
you know what
No,
I'm saying?
that you're correct in that statement. I've
Like
been
like in San
laughing.
Luis Potosi, I'm pretty sure you're only getting those integrate Marulus, Achilles type animals, where you're not getting like either one. So yeah, I guess maybe
Yeah.
hybrid would be
The
the
same with the Holbrook Eye Niger king snakes in southern Illinois. They all look like really dark speckled kings, and that's where the two species split. You go more west, it's speckled. Further east, and they're the black king snakes. So you are
Nice.
correct. Yeah, that's
But
cool.
yeah, Alex makes a good point about Obscurus also being found super high up. Uh, Alex was at IHS too. Good catching up
Nice.
with him as always. Um, what else? What else did we see? We saw
Gila's desert coral.
no others did.
Oh,
Others saw both of them, which unfortunately we missed out on both of those. We saw a long-nosed snake that had just been freshly hit, unfortunately. It was very beautiful, but yeah, I mean, that's herping for you. We got a horn lizard at the Airbnb. Always cool. Always cool to see horn lizards. Super cute little guys. So yeah, I mean, overall, pretty cool trip. So what I think, if you want to count prairie in the mix, we saw 4 or 5 rattlesnake species. So
that's not bad.
yeah, I mean, it's rattlesnake land out there, man. You can't really go cruising on any sort of even remotely, appropriate night and not see something. So,
Is it true Arizona's got the most species of rattlesnake of like any state in the United States? I thought
yeah,
they've got like 20 something I mean, that's
I, yeah, I want to say it's somewhere in the teens, because I think the U.S. in total has 26.
okay.
Um,
I would not know that.
yeah, yeah. I
Wrong
mean,
question.
if anybody in the live has the actual number, because we got what. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just list them, but yeah, it's a lot, especially because once you get further north, you get like the specs. I think lutosis barely range down into Arizona. Um, you got the Cerberus, the Arizona black rattlesnakes, which I've never seen in the wild, but they're gorgeous. Um, yeah, Arizona. I mean, there's a reason why Arizona is an international herping destination. You know.
I should know this. I have just over on my wall over there a print of the venomous reptiles of Arizona. It's the one that Khalid Romulato did. So it looks like the state of Arizona, and then it's made up of every snake and the one Gila. But
Yeah.
I haven't counted every snake on there, so I wouldn't know still. I just think it looks cool, but I should know.
I want to say the number is like 12 or 13, but I could be wrong. But either way, it's like, yeah, it's pretty wild. And that like you can get what, like 7 or 8 species within like this kind of narrow radius, right at the southeastern part of the state, right at the New Mexico and Mexico border. Um, yeah, pretty sick, because I people saw blacktails, people saw prairies, people saw clobberai. Um, as far as I think Willardi, they're not in the immediate area. We're a little bit further west you get them, and then right over east into New Mexico, that's where like the very small obscurus range is.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, no, it was awesome. So yeah, cool herping, and then yeah, symposium was really cool as well. Of course, I mean, ton of people there. I'm not sure if you saw those. I'm not sure if you're on Facebook these days, but the IHS, yeah, the IHS pages. They did like a drone shot of the group because an actual picture of on the ground is there would be no way to capture everybody in the picture. Um, yeah, it was pretty awesome. So a lot of really good talks. Um, I
Do you
got to give
did you listen in on every talk that was given, or?
not every talk. So Thursday I heard all of them. Friday is when we went herping in the morning for the price eye, and we just ended up being out there a little longer than expected. So missed a decent amount of Friday's talks, and then caught all of Saturday's. And there were a few Sunday morning, but that's when I came back, so I didn't see any Sunday morning. But Saturday was like the main day of the event in total. That's when they had the founders of herpetoculture panel. That's when they did the banquet. So yeah, I'm glad to have caught those. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to Michael Berger. He had, in my opinion, the talk of the weekend, and then probably the runner up for one of the other best talks of the weekend. You know, probably as much of a historian on herp history as there is in the entire world. And yeah, gave some phenomenal talks about the origins of herpetoculture, and data points and events from hundreds of years ago that like you never would have heard of in any other context. So just super cool. I really enjoyed a lot of the talks that were focused on history, which there were a decent amount, particularly considering that the theme was the 50th anniversary. So yeah, lots of cool talks based on history of either herpetoculture, or Kristen Wiley did a talk on the history of venom extraction and how methods have evolved over time, kind of early methods to modern methods, which was super cool. I always like hearing about that stuff. As I know you do as well. It's to me is super fascinating. So the history talks were my favorite.
Cool. Well, I had a little list because since I unfortunately missed out on IHS, so that history was your favorite. Were any of the talks at all sort of like inspiring you, sort of like change you to think differently for what you're doing now? Or
yeah,
there were talks held that weekend from what I understand, so got some good variety.
Yeah, no, I mean it was all over the board. Without really time to reflect on it, I'm not sure if there was necessarily a moment that I was like, oh, that's like a method that I want to try on something that I haven't thought of before. One criticism I think I'd give is that some of the talks that were focused on reproduction were kind of vague. So it's like you're doing a talk about breeding this species, but you're not really talking about breeding this species. So what are you talking about? I was a little bit, there were a couple of talks, I'm not going to, mention anything publicly, but there were a couple of talks that I was like, it's a little surprising with the quality of this event that this talk was actually held. But I mean, you can't blame the promoters. How could they know that the talk would have been mediocre? And also that's just one man's opinion. So, people could have really enjoyed it as well. So Alex, are you referring to my opinion about some of the talks that were not so great? Because we are on a delay here with the comments. I want to make sure that, because I'd like to get some reassurance on my hot take. But yeah, I think if anything, what really inspired me about it was just like wanting to, Tony was there as well. Always cool to catch up with Tony. Yeah. Okay, Alex. Yeah. Man, I forget if we specifically talked about this at the event, but yeah, I'm not going to pull the comment up. If you're in the live chat, you can see it. The most disappointing talk of the weekend was that talk, bar none. I was kind of angry after the talk, if I'm being honest.
Common
So,
Alex, not Screamer Alex.
yes, Alex Oliver, not Alex Myers. Too many damn Alexes in this hobby. So, anyway, but I think what was kind of the most inspiring was like some of the talks that were history related. Like Joe Wazalewski gave a fantastic history talk, kind of like went through the lineage tree of Bill Haast. Everybody who came from his Serpentarium, who kind of started to do their own thing, himself included. And I'm like, man, it'd be so cool if like our generation 50 years from now can like have that kind of chronology, like look what we were doing back then and kind of where that went. I mean, you know, Romulus Whitaker was part of that class. You know, Carl Barden was kind of associated with that, like, you know, George Van Horn, people that ended up doing huge things in herpetoculture and beyond and in conservation. So that was really inspiring of like, you know, that can be us one day. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. And, you know, like hearing stories of people who've been involved in herpetoculture for 60, 70 years, like that's wild. That's wild that, you know, that kind of longevity is, and just like hearing about all of the changes. The founders panel was not quite as long as I would have liked it to be, but scheduling is scheduling. But, you know, hearing stories about how these people like, you know, Dave Barker and Kathy Love and, you know, Craig Trumbauer, how like they had to do stuff in like, you know, the 50s and 60s because there wasn't much infrastructure around this thing that we do like there is today. And, you know, hearing their takes on how things have progressed and how they continue to progress and, you know, where they'd like to see it go and stuff like that was super cool. So,
I gotta ask, did they have any criticisms of how things are going?
you know, it was overall, I think, a pretty positive take on things. Just kind of hoping that that the hobby doesn't like lose some of the foundation of it. And, you know, I think we've talked about that on here as well with like kind of the post-COVID social media era, kind of new people feeling high and mighty, kind of shitting on the old
trying to reinvent the wheel, forgetting they're riding in the backseat of the car of the people who are driving it.
Right. Because the methods have changed over time, you want to dismiss how things were in the past. It's like, that's like if you walk up a flight of 10 stairs and you're on the 8th stair and you're like, what are these fucking stairs behind me for? I don't need those. It's like, well, that's how you fucking got there. So, it's like, you know, just if this may have been inferior stairs, they may have had a bit a little rickety, but fuck it. I mean, this is how we got here. You know, we weren't gonna come up with giant bioactive enclosures with modern lighting and blah 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 without having snakes in, you know, top opening aquariums and
with heat box,
right, in wood cages and melon. Like it just, I mean, how do you expect the evolution to go if we're not gonna, you know, have some bumps in the road? So
one of my first cages was a wooden cage. My father and I built.
I mean, people still use wooden cages with much success. So, but yeah, I just like feeling like being like I was kind of involved in a moment in herp history was kind of neat, especially because it was the 50th anniversary of the symposium and just like the collective hive mind of people who were there that weekend. Like this kind of gathering of people is probably not going to be repeated. So that was pretty cool to me. So yeah, I was, you know, really happy to be there. Saw tons of friends and got some cool herping in. So yeah, really a fantastic weekend. The Southeast Expo looked awesome too, but there's 2 of those a year. There was only going to be one 50th anniversary IHS, so it took precedent without much debate.
Yeah, I definitely missed out. I had life shenanigans going on. I know we had talked because I had potentially thought about flying down, but
Yeah.
My life's just been hectic the past couple of months, and hopefully starting to slow down, especially come Tinley and Daytona. Which
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
talk about.
you say
But,
come Tinley like that's not like over 2 months away.
well, dude, I've been doing stuff every weekend. Like it's,
Mm.
I have been a little busy, but I guess sort of one last question I had written down was, were there any talks that had catered to your learning, your personal journey as, sort of, growing up as a fellow, young herpetoculturist in today's day and age? Like, was there something that really, I guess, stood out and you sort of, was there, I guess not stood out, but was there a talk that really resonated with you?
Um, in a contemporary context, not really. There were some talks from some younger people, but I that was the day that I missed, so I didn't
Mhm.
get to hear those talks. I hate to give the same answer twice, but I think it was some of those history talks, and maybe particularly Joe Wazalewski's talk, where like kind of I could picture myself contextualizing my life like that in the future, and hoping that that will be something that can happen one day if all the laws stay on our side and whatnot, and we can keep doing this. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would say that. I mean, I hate to give the same answer to two different questions, because there was kind of like there were talks like that, and there were very much more like practical
Mhm.
talks describing a project or something like that, or Dave Barker gave a really good talk about short-tail blood and short-tail pythons with like a bit of natural history, taxonomic history, the species being described and whatnot, and then kind of moved it up to a lot of the morphs and whatnot that are present now. That talk may have blended history and contemporary more than any other talk. It seemed like it was either kind of one or the other. Um, Dr. Zach Loafman gave a really cool talk about growth patterns that they have tracked in their field site in Iowa with
Mhm.
different species of colubrids, in the context of captive feeding. And we've talked about captive feeding on here probably a few different episodes, and I believe I probably mentioned it. I mean, either when he was on here with us or when I was on their podcast. But it's obviously that's a topic that I'm very passionate about, and really I'm trying to learn about through my personal experience. Um, so it was interesting to see the findings of the data that they collected, how that kind of how that kind of meshed with what his thoughts were going into it. So obviously captive study is a captive study, but if you can study a wild population, it's like, all right, I mean, that's, super interesting to relate it to what we're doing. Obviously, the wild is no perfect place,
Mhm.
but that's where the animals have been for, millions of years. So, like, obviously, that's what they're adapted to. So, you know, how do we take that and relate it to what we're doing, however that may end up looking? I really liked his talk. So, um, I guess in a contemporary context, I don't know if there was necessarily one that hit me like that. Maybe I didn't, in fact, miss whatever talk that would have been, but some of the talks that kind of contextualized herpetoculture, um, were inspirational. Of like, let's see if that can be a place we end up one day.
Yeah. You were mentioning again, I missed out, but Joe's talk, I'd really like to see maybe one day if they had like Rob talk, or if you
Mm.
gave like how many
Yeah,
perpet,
yeah,
like the amount. I still think about that, and I know we frequently talk about it off air, but
yeah,
the sheer amount of people that are relevant within modern day herpetoculture who worked
yeah,
at the Wildlife Discovery
yeah.
Center, not
No,
even private keepers, but how many of those keepers went to zoos now and
I
are,
mean, look at Maggie Solom, look at Zach Bullich. Like, they're doing some great work on in their own right. Obviously, Brian Susan might be the most shining example of an alumnus to
Matt
not aware.
Most.
Matt Most, yeah, absolutely. Addie, Adeline
Yeah.
Robinson. I mean, I think that's one that kind of flies under the radar because she's like made so much of a name for herself. After, I mean, probably Brian as well, but like because she's made a name for herself, not necessarily involved in with like directly with the animals as an artist. Obviously, rest in peace, Gavin Brink. Can't bring up the alumni without bringing up Gavin's name. One of the pioneers in the neotropical rat snakes. So that might be a pretty damn good idea.
There's your talk at IHS in like 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. At the 75th anniversary, do the alumni of the Wildlife Discovery Center. I mean, that's actually not a half bad idea. There's more than enough to say from that. So those will definitely be looked back at as the good old days. And I feel like they kind of, for us, probably already are a little bit now, and they weren't, that was like a decade
We were
ago.
14 back then. we had it real young, but dude, I still think I was looking through an old notebook of mine, because what I do is I would fill out sort of like what I learned today every time I got back from volunteering. And just, I
never did that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a big note taker, so that's the only reason. Yeah, I know.
What's on?
You haven't bred class Telepus yet.
What if it's on fucking blue tape on a cage? It's not in note form.
Yeah, it counts. But what's it called? Just one day was I cleaned a trio of the Sri Lankan pythons, and then the other day was
Indian pythons.
Okay, I could, but
You got to read your notes, Alex.
Clearly, right? Yeah, fair enough. That's what I get for insulting your Moluccan pythons. But I am, yeah, well, not the pythons themselves, just your work with. But,
no, just me, just me. Yeah, no, yeah. We caught on to it, yeah.
But just watching. I remember I watched Rob. He just showed me one day how he took a corn snake out of a garbage pan, but he was explaining how he worked with that as if it were a hot snake, because I wasn't, I wasn't when he was working. So just techniques like that, foundations of learning how to use a snake hook. I remember Zach pointing out like how to be safe working in and around crocodilians, and I used some of those skills, like the mindset, then my internship when you had your crocodilians at Indianapolis. So it's just, I really think about that, like you use the stare analogy previously, but how critical the foundational steps are to shaping you as a keeper, a breeder, people who end up being zoo directors. I mean, at the end of the day, we all started as, somebody's protege at one point or another. Doesn't matter how long it was, but we all learned from somebody. And like I said, that'll be your talk at IHS when it comes up. So
I'd love to do it. I mean, it's those memories really, like they feel more and more significant as they become more distant. I feel like just some of the animals that we got to be around at that stage, especially in that kind of context, because people, you could intern at a zoo or whatever and see that animal from a distance, basically almost the same kind of experience as if you were just a visitor at the zoo. But being so up and close with, even if like crocodilians or venomous that we didn't hands-on interact with, I was 8 feet away from Rob taking out the gaboon vipers and the diamondbacks and stuff like that, and just learning those techniques.
How many 14-year-old kids every weekend got to say, "Oh, I'm just going to my volunteer job or my job, and my boss has got 3 king cobras, and green mamba." It's like, I don't know, hindsight is like, that was like every weekend for a few years of my life. I know you were there more often. It's just, it was a remarkable place.
Yeah, really, really was. While a place like that, I mean, it was a city organization, like from a business standpoint, not necessarily the best business model for profitability. But which it wasn't, that wasn't the point of it existing, but just like looking at that general in like a vacuum, but the importance of what that place created, like all the biology students that came through on the summer internships, we listed off probably, including us, the better part of 10 people who have gone on from there to do something really significant in herpetoculture or zoology. You know, how about the people who like did an internship over the summer and ended up being like a field biologist or something like that, or a conservation officer? Like the amount of good that that did for the advancement of probably just, you know, conservation in general, animal education, like that's worth its weight in gold, man. There aren't many places that are like that. You know, they're probably, you could probably find that type of thing in Florida, in, you know, all the different smaller roadside zoo kind of places that still exist there. But not kind of in that same, more, I guess, like educational kind of more academic context. It really was a super unique place that,
That's one where, you know, we've talked about in the past where sort of a lot of the sub disciplines of herpetology, herpetoculture, that's sort of where they crossroad. You have
yeah,
somebody who's a private keeper be a volunteer and a future biologist be a volunteer, and they're working together,
yeah.
whether
I
it was
mean,
a
for
habitat
a
or educating.
for a non-accredited zoo to receive a Komodo dragon is pretty significant. You know, that goes, that I think that alone just goes to show what that place was like. You know, not AZA, not ZAA, but was entrusted with multiple Komodo dragons.
Yeah,
You know, not even just one Komodo dragon, a second Komodo dragon. So, um, yeah, no, that's yeah. Anyway, it's just absolutely amazing, and yeah, I think you make a great point. Would be a fantastic topic for an IHS talk one day. So, Zach, if you're listening, when you become president officially,
we
put it on
think
the.
he'll get united in with a snake hook. You know how, like, instead of the sword,
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't, that would be really disappointing.
the question is it a standard stake hook or an L hook? Is he going classy?
Mm, that's a great question. I think if it occurred at the 50th, which they did not officially knight him, I think the outlook may be more appropriate. That's a really good. That's a we gotta think that one over because that means a lot in the context of this discussion. I don't know about you.
I love L hooks, man.
I never liked L hooks. Maybe I just didn't work with them enough to get used to them, but I don't know. Wasn't never been a fan.
To each their own, man.
I
I
guess, yeah, but that's the Terry Phillip method with
I had I had one at my old job, so I was opening tubs with that, learning how to. It was great with the colubrids, even just practicing on king snakes because they
yeah.
try to you as soon as you open the tub, so they're flying around. But yeah, I can use both. I am multifaceted in my approach.
Wow.
Coming from somebody who keeps lizards, of course, hook doesn't really work on a sailfin dragon.
No, I can't imagine it would. But so yeah, man, overall super awesome weekend. Probably the highlight for me was getting to meet Dave Barker, talk to him about scrubs for a while. That was pretty awesome. So yeah, kind of godfather to scrubs more or less. I mean, pythons really in general, but specifically scrub pythons. The Dave and Tracy were the grandparents of scrubs, so to speak. So
Well, you have some in your collection that are descendants from theirs, right?
I do. Yeah, I was able to show him a picture of one of them, and it's kind of, you know, to me, just a cool full circle moment of like, you know, this is pretty awesome. I mean, same with you, with, you know, how you're tracking yourself in lineage. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I can do that, you know, there's not a lot of historic scrub python lineage as of now. I mean, I think, you know,
But the
in 20
story
years,
behind it, at least
but
for what you do have.
oh yeah, I mean, you know, in 20 years, I'll be able to trace my lineages back 20 years, but like in 20 years to have a lineage I can trace back 40 years, that's pretty cool. So, um, which is what I have with those, with the, you know, these four individuals that still have 25% of that in them. So, like, hey, not bad. So, that was cool. But anyway, yeah, IHS is awesome. Highly recommend anybody check it out. The event will be in New Orleans next year, which I find is an interesting choice. Not really a herping destination, but
You
you
get
know,
timber rattlesnakes out there. I'm trying to cross them off on every state. So
are
if they're there,
they that far south in Louisiana?
I don't know.
I don't know
I just
either.
live in Louisiana, but
Okay.
if they're within range of New Orleans, even if it's a drive, I could see if I could make that because that's
Yeah.
I crossed off Minnesota and Iowa this year, so
Mm.
I was pretty happy already about that.
All right. Cool, cool.
Getting there.
Got a couple of questions for you before we transition a little bit here. So, your dragons and snakes' favorite insect to munch on? I have to imagine you don't feed any insects to your snakes, but when it comes to your
The snakes get mice or quail, but I don't know. The dragons eat everything. I gave them all shrimp today. I love that. So sailfins are big shrimp fans,
nice.
or tilapia, but I've fed them everything: mice, roaches, superworms, grasshoppers, reptilinks. Which reptilinks great for variety, but it's a pain to clean up when they don't go in their water. So that's all I'll say there. It's gross.
Nice. Do you think they have like a preferred insect, or is it kind of they're not too picky?
Yeah, they definitely prefer insects. I don't think they're picky.
But
They're
within insects,
probably the supers. Every lizard loves a freaking superworm. It's just
Nice.
it's like a hamburger. Yeah,
yeah.
super sweet. So I have to go easy on those, but they it's kind of terrifying. I've had my Sulawesi black sailfin. She will jump like from the topmost perch straight out of the cage if she even sees them in the cup, because all of my enclosures are on stands, so their highest perches are above my head. So if they look down, they see them in a cup. Yeah, it's prepare for that.
Hell yeah. So here's another question. Your first baby, I assume she means sailfin dragon. How big was it when you first got it, and then versus now, and then how big was it, or how long did it take for you to get to adult size?
I mean, my first sailfins were like sub-adults. So
Yeah.
I guess like if I were to answer that question two ways, the sub-adult girls, like they're pretty much adult size now. So I've had them 3 years. I got them in 2023, and then some of the babies I'm raising up, I've got a 9-month-old holdback, and he's probably 20 inches now. He's been growing fast. So but again, it's kind of cool to have that data because truly that lizard hatched out almost a year ago. He's a September baby. So actually not 9 months. He's 11 months coming up on. So in 2 weeks. Actually, I think Daytona, I think he's born on the 18th or the 17th. I have it written on his enclosure. But yeah, he's about 20 inches long now, assuming it's a he, but I need more males. So if he's not, then he's probably going to be getting the boot because I don't need 5 females right now. But yeah.
All right.
I feel like 5 years is probably like sailfin adult size, roughly. But I don't know. It's weird. It's like they can breed at that, but like for example, I've got one that's 13 years old and she's very robust, like mature. Yeah. And so it's like, but my 5 and 6 year old females, they are like the same snout vent length as that older female, but you can see they're just a lot leaner. So I attribute that to just continuous growth, right? Or indeterminate growth, if that's the correct term for reptiles. The other thing, and I believe I mentioned this on one of our previous breeding season episodes, the 13-year-old female was the one that I had the most difficulty getting to breed. So is it almost a case where she was too big, like she was made too big? Whereas my other girls, I sort of kept a consistent feeding regimen. And whether or not they're going to eventually get that big in another 6 years, I don't know. I don't have that experience. But if they stay at the size they're at now, where I like that they're lean enough that I can see when they're starting to cycle. So that's just my preference, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that tracks with most reptiles, where they reach maturity, but then they like reach like full like adulthood very slowly over time. Where it's like, all right, you can, like if you're herping, for instance, and you find a big rattlesnake, you can tell by like how big its head is, how, tail base. Like there's just different features that you can look at on the snake and be like, oh, that's an old snake. Um, that's a 20-year-old snake or something like that, more than likely. So
I
it
think
tracks.
about that big Aru scrub you had too. His
Yeah,
giant.
that guy had to be fucking old.
That was an impressive specimen.
Yeah. Actually, a good question here. How do you prevent their soil from becoming waterlogged with such high humidity?
Some of my small enclosures have drains. I recently added those so I can just power wash them pretty much. And then the bigger enclosures are just so big that the hose is not, it doesn't oversaturate the enclosure. One of my enclosures, I literally walk into it, it's 7 feet tall and goes back 4 feet. So if I'm just running the hose over the head of the lizard, that water dripping is so minimal, even if I'm standing there for 2 to 5 minutes, just because that's what I need to get them to drink.
Right.
I just use cypress mulch on the floor so it absorbs it. And
Yeah.
the grow tent greenhouses have got flaps on the lower parts, so that's where I get most of my cross ventilation. And so the dry air entering and then rising and being more humid with the ambient air humidity, that sort of keeps the cage floor damp but not soggy. And then I can still keep those enclosures at 80-90% humidity overnight. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a good system. And having again, if I've said this on previous episodes, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself to the listeners, but I've got a ton of circulating fans in my room because it gets so warm, and I'm trying my best to avoid like a stagnant, hot, humid environment. You want good airflow.
Yeah.
And that just seems to work best for me as far as establishing a stable ambient air temperature, and the fans keeping the room dry, but it still allows enough air movement that air entering my cages at a high rate keeps them from being, like that.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
it took a while to figure it out, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, makes sense. If it's working, then fantastic.
Do you run a lot of fans in your scrub room to stabilize your ambient air temp, or?
No, honestly, I did for a while and I stopped. I literally just have my mini split and then my humidifier, which is a fan in its own right because it's an evaporative humidifier with a pretty strong fan that's kicking it up in the air. But yeah, I don't. I mean, I can't say I saw a difference with or without the fan. And if anything, I think some of like where I could have mounted the fans to the ceiling, which I didn't, but I had them like on top of cages, and they kind of like shake the cage would kind of vibrate a little bit. And I'm like that's got to stress the snake out. So I just canned the fan, saw no change whatsoever, and just doing it like this. So yeah, actually, come to think of it, yeah, I don't run a single fan in any room. But like the HVAC system is in all the rooms.
Yeah,
and
you have your
there's
room
air
is
exchange. Like this room right here is right next to the intake for the second floor. So air's moving around. But with how dry it is out here, I kind of like almost try to keep it. I don't want to say stagnant because it's never going to be because it's dry. But like
you want
I
to
can minimize the airflow. We'll keep the humidity a little higher. So that's kind of that's kind of the battle. But I can't say I've seen a single thing of any sort, whether it be temperature pockets or anything with the animals where like I would be like, oh, this is a consequence of not having enough airflow. So
probably helps that you do mostly ambient though. The lizard room, I've got heat lamps. If I wasn't circulating my air, I would have so many hot spots on. I mean, even with I want to say I've got 3 fans in that room, and the ceiling temp is still on average about 2 degrees warmer than the floor. So
yeah. I mean, and like that probably is the case for me now, especially downstairs and on the ground floor. But I almost kind of use that to my advantage a little bit, especially in the garage with the scrubs, like having the males in the bottom cages so that they get a little colder than the females for better spermatogenesis, etc. So, I use that temperature gradient to my advantage as opposed to having it be a detriment. Like, right, I have no breeder female snakes on the floor aside from a couple, or I guess at this point, one Spilotes there are 2 Spilotes cages, but they're also 4 foot high, so they can get way off the ground as well. So yeah,
So,
kind of trying to make the best of it.
I guess on that note, how is your breeding season go? I know you sort of did a solo episode.
Yeah.
Any episodes from that?
Yeah, so I did the one last week, so I guess I'm not going to go too in depth, but yeah, I mean, so far, well, I should have told you
You
this
don't want to
before.
jinx anything. I totally get that too.
No, it's just, I mean, fuck it, this is my podcast. So I had a clutch hatch out while I was at IHS. I recorded the solo podcast before I left, and I actually had a clutch pip this morning. So the clutch that hatched when I was at IHS, I'm probably going to post it tomorrow. It's already been on Patreon, so has this other clutch. But got the Mexican pine snakes, the Jani, hatched while I was at IHS. I haven't gotten a full count yet, but it's either 18 or 19 babies. And the reason that it would be 19 was that it was 20 eggs, 2 of them went bad, but then I saw 2 heads in 1 egg before I left. They had started to pip the day I left. So, but then none of them look like twins. They're all big. So either there were full-size twins, which is kind of crazy, or a baby literally hatched and went into the other one's egg and was just chilling with it for a while. But there were definitely 2 heads in that egg. There were definitely 2 heads. So they're all just in a tub together right now. They're all going into shed. I'm going to set them up tomorrow, but so yeah, I'll be able to count them, and it'll either be 18 or 19 because those are the only 2 options. So yeah, Mexican pines hatch, which is freaking awesome. 4th year in a row getting them to go, which is
a cool species. I love it. The adults look incredible too. That's just.
Yeah. No,
I see those and I'm like, how is that a Pituophis? I mean, morphologically, the body structure, absolutely. It's just like the pattern, I feel like, is not gopher, bull, sort of like the blotches and the black streaking, and then you just have a fiery red face with squares. It's very clean.
Even like anatomically, there's a little bit of like a drift, but a lot of the Central American pits don't really look like Pituophis. The Depii Jani, the Depii, and then particularly the Lineaticalis, they're long, slender, and have small heads. Where you think of Pituophis, you think of northern southern pines, bull snakes, Sonoran gophers, the Deserticola, etc. Like big heads, chunky bodies. I mean, the Louisiana pine snake might be the proportionally colubrid in the world.
Yeah.
So for there to be in the same genus of Louisiana pine snake, this like 5-foot snake that can eat a large rat because it's just so fucking robust, and this like 9-foot Guatemalan gopher that like is proportionally like a freaking beauty snake, not completely, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but for argument's sake, it's kind of nuts. So it's such a cool genus. But yeah, I feel like the Mexican pines, between Jani and Depii, kind of in the middle. Where like you can start to see with the San Diego gophers that they have smaller heads proportionally. Like anatomically, San Diego gophers and Mexican pines they're kind of similar. Then like the vertebralis, they kind of get that more slight head as well. It's cool to see how those anatomical features kind of vary throughout the range of the genus. So I think it's pretty neat.
Very cool. And what clutch pip today?
Today is Barneck Scrubs.
Let's go.
Yeah, pretty freaking cool. Last I checked, 3 eggs have pipped out of 10. And
they had today or last night?
This morning was the first.
Okay.
Was this
I say something must be in the air. A mutual friend of ours, I don't know if he wants it public yet, but he had some scrubs hatched last night. I got a Snapchat notification. He's like, bro, they pipped. And then you're saying you've got bar necks this morning. So
Cool.
2 scrub clutches in 12 hours. Actually, no, 24 now. But yeah.
This is the time of year for it, man. Pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, and then what makes these even more special is this is the first scrub clutch that I've produced from an animal that I produced. So
Is this
the
one of your
sire,
babies?
no.
What?
This is a male that I produced in 2022.
Whoa.
Beat all of the 2020s to reproducing.
Just a 4-year-old male that was a stud muffin.
Ready to go.
Dang.
Yeah.
Has any of your 2020 girls, have they been cycling at all, or?
They're all on their second year, and none of them have done anything.
They're just
They've,
not going. Are they building follicles and just not
yeah.
going through with ovulation, or?
Exactly. Yeah, that two. Really, the 3 that I held on to, they've all cycled twice. So.
If not this year, hopefully next year.
Yeah, hopefully third time's a charm.
I mean, isn't that what happened though with Helms and Arus for you?
Arus, yeah, the Helms. Well, the Helms, the first time I kind of got follicles out of those, I had my whole mix up of missexed Helms. I think I had 4 missexed Helms, where like I had multiple times in a row I had 2 females together, and two males ended up being females, and then a female ended up being a male, and he's the one who sired my second clutch. So whole freaking rigmarole with that. But the Arus, yeah, I think that my female cycled 3 years in a row before she actually laid. So yeah, just gotta be patient, I guess. But I kind of hoping that captive breds might do everything a little more smoothly than wild caughts, but you don't always get a chance to choose that. So yeah.
Exciting. Congrats though. So then would those be, if you bred it, if it's a captive, would these be F2s? Did you breed it to a
These
captive
are
bred?
two. Yeah, captive bred female, unrelated. Female I did not produce. Probably one that you worked with. It was part of the big group that I got.
Yep.
2019 Barnick. So
Nice.
yeah, half siblings to the Rain line Barker lineage ones from last year. So female of that like axanthic looking, or sibling of the one that looked really axanthic when it was young.
Yep. And then it's
So,
colored. That's
well,
cool
yeah.
though.
Yeah, so very, very happy about that. Scrub clutch number 4 for the year so far. Yeah. And what's also cool, and I'm this is going to be a little bit of counting my snakes before they're on the ground, but I guess pending a good hatch rate, I should be able to break my previous year record for scrubs with this clutch of babies produced in the season. So
Do you think like 2020 Steven would be losing his mind? Like how excited you were when you got that first clutch of scrubs, and now it's like, oh yeah, this is my 4th clutch that's had, for the year. I mean, like,
wild.
Since we've been on the topic of like looking back, like, I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
I sort of had that moment a week ago, not to quickly change the subject, but like I've got my notes in front of me. No joke, 2 weeks ago, I dug up clutches 17, 18, 19, and 20 for the year of Chinese water dragons for me.
Damn.
And it's just like, I was thinking about that, like, what would 18-year-old me think who was just over the moon that I had hatched 1 clutch? And it's like, yeah, I'm on track to do over 100 water dragons this year.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So to go back, though, like...
You've been at it longer than I have with scrubs with the water dragons.
I mean, water dragons are super fecund once you get them going, man. The one female...
Not that many.
Yeah, well... I've had a lot of time to figure them out, like I mean, it's just refined it over the years, I guess. But and it helps that I've got 7 girls who are now 2 of the girls last year when I had 17 clutches, not all of those clutches were viable, but they still cycled. And now the girls that had their sort of test year of having it go, they've bred this year, and so now they're rocking. Every girl has given me at a minimum of 3 clutches. One of them, my most fecund girl, she sadly the past 2 clutches were duds because I've been trying to get her to stop playing. She was the one that laid 5 clutches last year. She's laid 7 clutches this year since January from one lizard. It has been crazy. And the poor girl, I've been giving her like 1 medium roach twice a week just to sustain her. And I'm like, you are not going into another cycle. And she's finally staying lean. I'm not seeing any signs of her building follicles again. But it's like, can you please stop? It's I have my notes open in front of me right here. And like literally, she laid in October, and then she took November and December off, and then it was just January, February, March, April, May. Just every 35 days, dude, on the dot.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, I've got a holdback daughter from her, so maybe I'll regret holding the fecund line if I have a group of 10 of those one day, and I've got.
Hey, that means you just don't need quite so many of them, you know.
Yeah, that is true. More that can go out into the ether and hopefully keep good genetics on.
If you can have less adults and the same production, why not?
I like the sound of that, right? That's okay. So they don't stop. I was laughing because before I dug up those eggs, my last clutch from April hatched. Unfortunately, I guess like on the top of your breeding season, I've been having a pretty bad breeding season for the sail fins, and part of it was because I had like an HVAC air conditioning failure. And I talked with you about this off air, but for the listeners, there was a point where I could not get my lizard room below like 85 to 88 at night. It just would. We had a heat wave here in Minnesota, and I could not get it to cool down. And so a lot of my sail fins, I'd see them building follicles, and they would reabsorb. And the girls that chose to lay, all bad eggs. And so I suspect it was a case where it was too hot and they ovulated too soon, or like the male quite literally probably just had his sperm fried, right? Like he was just too hot because he locked up with one of those girls 4 times. Like as soon as she swelled, I'd pair her and she'd freaking drop. So I knew it was bad on the water dragons because it was like when they're too hot, they just shut off. They're too busy. They don't like it hot like the sail fins do, and they weren't even building follicles. And so the last clutch from April hatched, and I had been on 2 weeks of having the HVAC fixed, and sure enough, some of them started to cycle again. And they're like, finally, night times 72, 76, and they they did their thing again. So I was like, sweet, this is my last clutch for a while. And then you dig up 4 more. So September is going to be a busy month. And October and probably November. Because
there you go.
Stop. So anyways, not to have changed the deck. So 4 clutches of scrubs.
We got to get Lisa's comment out here, telling you not to be so modest that you are a phenom, which is true.
I don't even know what a phenom means. I'm not caught up with the lingo these days.
With the dictionary?
No, with the dictionary. the old thesaurus.
Yeah. But yeah, scrubs. What?
4 clutches. Is this your first clutch of Barnex?
For the year, yeah. Yeah, and then it'll be the only one. So
might as well be captive bred then. I'm surprised did some of your other girls reabsorb or?
Yeah, so I had 4 Barneck girls reabsorb, and then I think I talked about it with you back then. I had a female that was part of the egg-bound apocalypse back in 2024 that lost an oviduct, lived, and cycled this year and bred and laid a clutch. It was like a half clutch. It was like 6 or 7 eggs. But then the last egg that came out of her, it popped in her cloaca. So the contents of the eggs got over all of the good eggs. Literally, when I pulled the clutch, I pulled the last eggshell out of her that had popped, and mold just took over in like 3 days. They went from looking fine to being like blue and green in like, I mean, literally less than 4 days. So that was that. I mean, you know, the fact that this female that had this insanely traumatic event even got to the point of laying eggs again is kind of incredible. You know, this is an animal that I would probably retire and move on if it wasn't, you know, try to see if there's anybody who has a public display or anything that, you know, would want a big scrub. But she is definitely, at least of animals that I've gotten, the most unique wild caught scrub I've ever seen. So I will do pretty much anything to be able to get a clutch from her at some point. So not giving up yet. She recovered fantastic, you know, didn't skip a beat eating, physically everything was fine. You know, there was a concern, and I talked to Ryan about it a bit, and he's like, well, I guess you'll find out. If she hadn't fully lost the oviduct and it still developed a couple follicles, like if it was kind of did an incomplete process, that stuff could get stuck inside her, you know, the egg couldn't fully get out of her body because the structure just wasn't there. None of that happened. It must have been a very clean break on that oviduct where it's just done. You know, that ovary probably just isn't functional anymore. So she's just a single ovary female, which is fine. But yeah, that would have been the other barnet clutch if that had happened. So, but one's good enough for me. I'll take it. I just didn't want to miss a year because every year I produce scrubs, I produce barnecks, and I guess this would be clutch number 1, 4, 5, 8, 10. I think might be my 10th barnet clutch.
Not too shabby then. Hey, you only need to have one a year, right? That's what I was telling myself with water dragons and sailfins for this year. I was like, okay, I just have to hatch them this year. And like literally I had a clutch laid January 3rd and then a clutch from November hatched like January 6th. I was like, well, 6 days in a new year, we're done with water dragons.
Yeah.
So I thought. And then sailfins hatched at the end of January. But the only true 2026 clutch I've hatched for sailfins was my June hatch from a clutch in March before the great heat wave.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully some more. I've seen them start to go again. It's just, dude, I have no idea. It's year 2 with sailfins. I feel like I can cheat because I can look back at, you know, 2018, 2019, 2020, all my notes for water dragons. But sailfins, it's like, crap, this is all I have, which was a year ago, and I'm past my window of when I had a lot of clutches being laid, except for my one girl who went till November. So I'm hoping maybe if they the ones that reabsorbed, at least, I'm hoping they just decide to go later, and they're looking like they will. But at this point, I have no idea, man. I won't know till eggs are on the ground. So
yeah,
wish me luck, because I was hoping to have more sailfins at Tinley, and the reality is there might not be too many. They all don't sell first, but you know, just be cool to have some Pustellatus on the table.
Sure,
so, something different.
No doubt.
But yeah,
I did have. I might actually be wrong. It might be 11 barnet clutches.
11.
I think
you and I would be tied then.
What's that?
You and I would be tied with like our favorite type.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you're gonna barnet clutches. I'm at 11 sailfin.
You're gonna far surpass me just on reproductive rate, but
I don't know, man. At this rate, you know, I might be screwed.
No. 1 the first year, 3 the second year, 1 the third year, and then I can't believe I'm blanking on this right now, but I think I had 4 in 2024. Just with some that just didn't have the highest fertility. Because I had 6 clutches that year. I had the Waminas, Southerns, and then the rest were Barnecks. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I guess this might not be the
Imagine like having
time
to.
figure it out. But
I can't relate. Like, there's some people who are like probably punching air right now. Like, why am I not having the problem of remembering how many bar nut clutches I have? Oh, what a terrible thing. Oh, I can't remember how many bar nut clutches I had. Oh, it might be 11. I mean, maybe it's 21 actually. I don't know.
no, it's either 10 or 11 because then I had just one last year and then one this year. Well, let's see if Instagram can tell me what my answer actually in fact is. That was last year.
This is why I was telling you need to take better notes. Instagram is not a note-taking platform. It's merely an archives.
Camera Roll is my note-taking platform.
Do you have like all your seasons organized into albums at least, or do you just straight up raw dog it and you're like, oh, that's probably like image 13,000 out of the 30,000 you've got on your phone?
Well, I can remember dates pretty well. That's what I got going in my favor.
Okay. So when was each of the 11?
Okay. Got it. Okay, now I remember it. All right. Yes. So four clutches. So yeah, I guess so. That's 11. I'm at 11 bar nut clutches. Yay. So okay, because I the one that I spaced, I actually ended up not keeping any from. So
Okay.
that's why I spaced it. But I guess then this brings me to 1, 4, 6, 12. Oh, this is number 20. This is scrub clutch number 20. So there you go.
You got 20 clutches of scrubs in your career, and I'm going on 20 water dragon clutches in 1 year. We are
Okay.
What's the word Lisa just used? You are a phenom. Absolutely incredible, Stephen. Congrats.
For reasons that I guess I'll wait until after the show, you should know this word.
No, I don't.
You must be new here.
I know. Totally new. Yeah.
You must be new in your life as well. So anyway.
20 clutches, 20 co-host episodes. I mean, it's just a number, honestly. Relevant.
But yeah, no, I mean, it is really pretty ridiculous to think about. This is my 7th year breeding scrubs. So.
And we're back on the looking back part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Time has flown.
Which is wild because March 10th will be my 10-year anniversary of keeping scrubs.
Yeah.
Which
I say it. Next year will be my this is my 8th year breeding Chinese water dragons. So 2 more years, 10 years on that, but I'm past that 10th year. I think I got my first one in 2013. So
yeah, for sure.
But like that's keeping. I feel like I got more. I was one for what 5 years or something before I got the boy. So
yeah.
But time does fly. I think that's one of the best parts of talking with you. Like when you're sending me updates, I'm like, hey, I saw that snake when it was a baby in Chicago. It's cool.
You got the nostalgia Snapchat story where like I can always count on at least a couple times a week seeing an animal from the past. I'm like, that was 7 years ago.
You're welcome. Yeah. It just shows up on my camera. I'm like, I'm gonna post it. And then like the 3 reptile people I have on Snapchat swipe up. Everybody else from like high school, they're like, yeah, that's a cool snake. I'm like, you have no idea what that animal means. It's like that was like one of the only breedings of that snake ever. And it's just, I don't know. I have fun with it. It's like a giant archive. So when you write the Scrub Python book, you're gonna have at least like 250 images that will all say taken by Alex Myers.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm unintentionally becoming your future photographer for the scrub book. You do realize this.
Yeah,
I can already see it. Like the complete Simalia minus Clastolepis. But by
all right. We just I need to recover. My gosh. I mean, I can only take so much fucking punishment on this episode.
you're welcome. Oh yeah. The
I
complete
deserve
Simalia.
it. I deserve it. This was year 6 of trying, or yeah. God.
You will get it. It's like you have the group. One of them will go. I know. Okay. All jokes aside,
Someone with great skill or talent as a phenom stems from phenomenal. So Lisa is now our dictionary because you don't know.
thank you, Lisa. I was really tempted to make a bad decision. One of my friends reached out asking if I wanted their pair of Southern White Lips. And I was thinking like, well, I actually could reach out to somebody if I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
And then I came to the conclusion of where the hell am I going to put an adult pair of black white lips? So it was a really good deal too, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to move into a bigger space next year, so those will have to wait. But maybe I don't know. I'm still waiting for you to produce Clastos. I'll get the friend. I still have the coupon, by the way, that says 1 free pair of Malukan scrubs. Yeah.
Wasn't Malukan spelled improperly though, or there was something on that coupon that was
Oh, I totally butchered your name, Stefan Kush.
that was what it was. Like, God damn it.
I'll have to I've been on a hiatus from Facebook. Maybe I'll just I'll log on and I will post that video, the coupon when I unboxed, and then I'm just gonna log off again. I'm gonna let the world go into chaos. Man who doesn't have a single scrub python is gonna get 2 free Malukan scrubs. You have no idea how many people will lose it. Yeah, it's gonna go on your timeline. You're welcome.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Birthday present to myself, and we're 1 month early. So, yeah.
Yep.
But I guess on the topic of things that are coming up, though, Daytona. Yeah, dude.
Daytona.
My second Daytona. I'm hyped. Only going to be there Saturday though, because I'm going to be catching up with some buddies of mine in Florida. But I'll be at the show pretty much most of the day Saturday, and probably after it ends, just hanging out at the bar and catching up. So we're totally gonna hang. And I say, is there anything you're looking forward to seeing at Daytona? I mean, I guess we don't really know what's gonna be there, but like, what do you hope's gonna be there?
I mean, the thing about Daytona that, we always talk about, like why it's so great, is that you see animals there that you're not going to see anywhere else. The turtle and tortoise selection, second to none. Colubrid selection, second to none. Lizards. Anything that you can keep outdoors is kept outdoors in Florida. So there's always an incredible lizard selection in Florida. Iguanas, lots of iguanas, usually more than you see anywhere else. Different, Tenosaurs and Cyclura and, the whatnot, the non-iguana iguanas, non-green iguana. You get Delicatissima and stuff like that as well, which you usually won't see. So that's always awesome. And then just the people who show up to Daytona, like it's probably number 2 behind Tinley, and maybe the Southeast show is going to take this spot at some point. But as far as pulling people from outside in, where like Pomona does it as well, but it's a mostly West Coast show. West Coast and West Coast adjacent. A lot of Arizona people go, Nevada, Oregon, like even some Texas people, but like you don't really see like Florida, New York, Pennsylvania people at Pomona the same way you see people from everywhere at Tinley. And I feel like Daytona has a similar kind of pull to Tinley in that regard. I mean, it's, Daytona itself, but not Daytona itself, but like the promotion. Isn't it the oldest reptile show, or at least at a larger scale reptile show?
I know Wayne's been running that show forever, because I guess it used to be in Orlando. I remember reading about that in Langer Warp's book. But.
Yeah. So like those old Orlando shows were, I mean, it's hard to say if they were some of the first reptile shows, but at least as far as a larger scale show, definitely the first. So a lot of history there as well. You know, a lot of old timer Florida guys at the show. So it's always super fun, man. I always love it. I missed Daytona for 4 years. So, and the thing was like every year during that period, I was like, I'm going to Daytona, and something came up where I couldn't go. So then last year, I'm like, if I'm doing one thing this year, I'm going to Daytona, and I did, and I'm like, why the hell have I been missing Daytona? So yeah, definitely like top priority show throughout the year. Um,
It's a different vibe than I mean, I don't really go to too many reptile shows anymore,
Same.
but like it's I mean, granted, I haven't missed Tinley in 13 years practically, or I think maybe I missed one, but that was the COVID show.
Yeah,
So
I missed like 6 in a row.
It happens, man. But it's like I don't know. It's just like I mean, Tinley was my go-to. Granted, it's close, you know. Like it was an hour drive for me in Illinois, and I moved north, and it's now only a 6-hour drive. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I just feel like Tinley has grown so much. Like it just feels crowded. Even when my buddies would let me get behind their table, it's like you have to sneak through your shoulder to shoulder, and then you see a freaking Daytona. I haven't been to Pomona, but it's just like wide aisles. It's cool. I don't know. It was the vibe of Daytona is just chill. You know, I was done, went to the bar after, caught up with friends, sitting outside, listening to the ocean.
As far as the location goes, it's the best show in the country. You're literally a show, Reptile Expo on the beach.
Yeah.
And
Can't beat that.
that's always been the thing about Tinley is like they're just, you know, they're packing 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. And, you know, obviously this what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the promotion, but like, man, when that hotel got bought out, yeah, the Holiday Inn Express was the shit. Bananas was the shit. The food at the restaurant is dog shit now. The vibe's not the same. It's still cool, but like
everybody leaves after the show, you know?
right.
You go with your group, and then you go like to your restaurant that you always go to. It's like I do have to agree, like sort of the part of the thing that I really enjoyed when I was younger is that like I could walk around the bar and I sort of knew people who were in their own friend groups, and they'd be like, "Hey, Alex, come over here," and I'd talk with them for half an hour, and then I'd go to another group, and that was how I was able to network at such a young age. But now it's like, I won't lie, the past 3 years, I've just been sitting with Brian Waterloo back at the bar, and he, you know, reminisces on the glory days, and it's great listening to him. I love hanging out with Brian. But to some extent, it's like I don't know, nobody else is there. And I feel like Daytona, you know, there were a lot of East Coast people I had talked to. I finally got to see in person. Yeah. Usually with you know, being greeted by, "You're a lot taller than I thought you were." But
oh my god, I get that every single show.
Yes.
I'm like, then I get also
giants walking around.
I'm like, how short do I look on video?
That's not a 14-foot scrub python behind you.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Solid 5'2".
Worst problems to have, I guess. But anyway, yeah. Honestly, I think if you look at just every single expo in the country, I think to me, Daytona might not be the best expo. It's close, but it's the one I'd want to miss the least. Like I would rather miss October Tinley than miss Daytona.
That's fair.
So, yeah, it's awesome, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be.
I'm hoping there'll be some sail fins there, because
I mean, I don't see why there wouldn't be.
There were none at the last show.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I don't know why. It's just, I mean, dude, even Underground didn't have any, and they always have them on their website.
Right.
Hoping for something different, because freaking I have one Western, what I call a Western Sulawesi giant sailfin, Hydrosaurus microlophus, and I thought it was a female, and I have a friend who has a male, and then she finally decided to tell me that it was a suppressed he. And like, no joke, in the past 3 months, I just saw the fin pop up more, and it's got this really gnarly nasal crest. I'm like, oh, that's a boy. So gotta find some more babies and raise them up. And yeah, because a certain vendor that will not be named has been banned from shows, and they used to be my go-to at Tinley. So there's no, for lack of a better term, there's going to be no shitty import table at Tinley.
Well, let's not go too far. Kickballs might still be.
No, they're
done too.
They're done.
Oh, no shit.
You realize they weren't at the last show when I saw you in March. No, they're gone.
Now you mention it.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, so it's I mean, that might be good for me, right? My good friend and mentor in the Water Dragons, Ryan Shermell, him and I will be splitting a table. So hopefully we'll be the diverse lizard table, but instead of them all being sad looking imports and deli cups, it'll be, all captive bred. Yeah. Bright-eyed, healthy basilisks, water dragons, hopefully some sailfins. He's going to have captive bred like skinks and stuff. He's got a Gurnia and Lamprolepis. And perfect for everybody who wants that, healthy captive bred lizard that you can put in a bioactive setup right away and not worry about parasites and kidney failure. So as terrible as it is to laugh at that, but I've dealt with that too much. So
yeah.
The lizard's not me.
Just upgrading the quality that we're dealing with at this shows. It's the name of the game, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So especially again, like I think Scott and Christian Larson are the only people that I know of who are vending with Chinese water dragons. They were at Southeast. I don't know if they'll have them at Tinley, but even then, they're gone, man. There's been a handful of people who've had them on MORPHMARKET from what I've seen, and usually as soon as they can't sell them, they just lowball their prices and then they're gone, which kind of breaks my heart. But I'm staying firm on my prices because I don't want them to go to bad quality homes. Right. But I really wonder like how long it'll be until I hope to God it's not going to happen, but some of the one-off breeders are just, the animals are so bottlenecked from those small sources. And thankfully, knock on wood, as long as I can, I'm going to keep trying to get more wild caughts and at least that I can salvage and get my groups rocking. But there's one other guy in the United States who's got a big group. So between him and I think we should be set. And a couple other smaller breeders out there with wild caught stuff that I've talked to. So they are around. But I do think about that because I say on your end, scrubs aren't really being imported as much, are they? So you're talking like severe lack of new blood coming in for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Dan O'Leary seems like he's put in some additional effort into bringing in more scrubs over the last year or so. Got to give him some credit. And like, Clastos, Arus, some of the less common stuff. So got to give credit where credit is due there. Kalzu occasionally has a few trickle in, and that's kind of it, man. Very few scrubs are coming in these days, which not bad timing considering how prevalent captive breeding is becoming.
Crazy statement to say right there.
Right, yeah. Well, and I had to think about it, but I wouldn't be surprised this year if countrywide we hit over 20 clutches of scrubs in the U.S. So, definitely. I mean, that's way more. Yep. That's, there probably weren't 20 scrub clutches produced in the 2010s, and we're getting that like every year. And that 2024, I think there were almost 30. That was a huge year. 2025 took a bit of a downturn, and this year it seems like it's been pretty solid too. So, yeah, I always love to see it. I definitely don't want to be the only one breeding scrubs, and I certainly won't be. So, the more people that are doing it, the more eyes there will be on scrubs, the more new keepers there will be, and the more we will all benefit, the more the animals will benefit. So,
everybody wins.
Yeah, no question about it. want to go back to some comments that we've been sitting on for a minute, but this one's from Lisa. So the RO that cycled 3 years before she laid, did it cause any complications? Specifically, did she lay any slugs? You know, I guess I'll say no with like an asterisk next to it. She laid 9 eggs, 9 perfect eggs. They all hatched, but she's a huge female. Like she's 11 and a half feet. And I would have expected a clutch almost twice that big. Ryan kind of theorized that maybe she only fired one oviduct or one ovary. So that, you know, who knows? That a snake that big and similar size females I've had lay in the past were in the like 17, 18 egg range or so. I had a Clasto slug out at that size, 25 slugs. So the fact that a female that was that big laid 9 eggs seemed a little off, but like it was perfect. They all hatched. The babies they were like probably the healthiest baby scrubs I've ever had. So no slugs. So I don't know. For instance, like these bar necks that are hatching now, you know, 10 eggs from a female that probably had a quarter of the body mass of that RO. So, I don't know. Good question. But I mean, seemingly everything was okay, but she recovered great, but definitely a small clutch. Another question from Mercedes from earlier. So for both of us, for someone who decides they want to breed, what's one brutal truth about egg incubation and hatchling care that they aren't ready to hear usually? I'll let you take this one first, Alex.
The time. Everybody wants to be like, yo, I cracked out a dozen scrubs or freaking water dragons, but you got to feed them, you got to house them, you got to get them established. And then you have to either make an ad on MORPHMARKET, Fauna, King Snake, you know, they're back and rocking. Like and then, you know, you got to sell them. And I don't know, it just takes time, you know. Granted, like I've got a lot of stuff going on, right, outside of reptiles. Like I work full time, you know. Summer is usually when I'm busy traveling, trying to do stuff with my family. So like I have had to, like, I streamline my process, but even then for my whole collection, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours every day. And that covers everything. Breeding my bugs, babies, breeders, lizards, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. But I think some people, you know, it sounds easy saying that, but like for me, it's just that's something I've always done, right? I get back from work, I just do my lizard work, and then I, you know, usually I'm talking on the phone with you while I'm doing lizard work, or I call a reptile buddy, listen to a podcast. Like it goes by for me, but I think what happens is if you have a new keeper, and I'm not trying to like say, you know, knock anybody, but I've seen it happen a couple times with people who are older than I am, right? They've got kids, they've got a family. I'm going to breed water dragons, or I'm going to breed, I don't know, ball pythons, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, this, you know, let's say snakes. Snakes, you can relate to it, and I'm sure you have a lot of people who listen who are mostly snake keepers that, you know, Saturday night, snake night. That's water night, that's spot clean, Sunday's feeding. But then, you know, let's say his daughter has a soccer tournament that Saturday night. Oh, I'll do the snake Sunday, and then maybe the son gets sick. And the next thing you know, it's like, dang, I've got 4 hours of work because now the snakes have really made a mess. You got to deep clean tubs, you got to feed babies, and it piles up. And so it's, I guess for me, it's putting in the time, but also making sure you have the discipline to like pivot when something happens. Say for, you know, Daytona, I've got an early morning flight. I'm getting up 3 hours just to knock everything out. Even though my lizards are going to be asleep, they're going to wake up, they're going to have clean water, and then the next day my caretaker will come, right? Because I just don't see the point in having that guy come later in the day if I can do that. You know, do I have to be getting up at 3:15? No, I could just wait for a guy to do it later, but I'm choosing to because, again, that's my collection. I know my animals. And I just think some people don't factor that in, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just something I've been doing pretty much every day for the past, at least now that I've been breeding lizards, more like 5 years, roughly.
Yeah.
Like just you put in the work, you know, you get it done, and then you do what else you got to do. But I was thinking about that, especially earlier this year when I had a ton of the water dragon babies and they were selling. I mean, there was, between exporting sail fins and selling water dragons, I think there was like a 2-week period where, and granted, this is me choosing to do it with my time. I probably should have just forcefully had a 1-set ship day of the week. But I think for 2 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was dropping boxes off at FedEx. And it's about a 25-minute drive to FedEx for me. So literally on top of the 2 hours of lizard work, I'm then doing another hour dropping stuff off. And that's not factoring in if I'm eating dinner and I'm on my computer responding to MORPHMARKET or Fauna inquiries, or Facebook. So it adds up. And yes, it is fun. It's rewarding, but I think part of the reason why I've been able to stick with it is, a lot of my teachers have said you kind of want to grow with the hobby. Earlier, and even though I've been joking about it, right? Lisa's highlighting it too, right? 20 water dragon clutches. There was a point where it was.
She did nail the math on this, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That sounds about right. How many eggs are in a scrub clutch? Would you say average?
8 to 15 on average. Probably average of like 10, 11.
Yeah. So, but again, I'll give you the benefit of that. You've only got one shot to make sure she goes. It's like if I get a slug clutch, I'll just wait till she goes again and again and again. I've got like 7 chances with the way mines are going, so I'll take those odds. But yeah, I would say to answer Mercedes' question, just the time that goes into raising them. You do, and again, that's why I enjoy it, right? I could be, I don't know, mindlessly wasting time playing video games, and I'd rather just be with my animals. That's why I have them at the end of the day.
I get that.
What would be your advice, Mr. Scrub?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that was a great answer. I guess I'll just kind of tack on to it. But what I would say, there's a lot of failure associated with it, especially early on. A lot of slugs, a lot of reabsorbing, a lot of can't even get this pair to lock up in the first place. Babies not eating, eggs dying in incubation. Like, it can be rough. Like, you oftentimes will see this kind of curated image of it online, and I'm probably guilty of that as well. I don't really post failures. I do a bit on Patreon, but that's really about it. And not because I'm trying to hide it, just because like I don't really want to think about it more than I have to. And I'm not looking for, oh, I'm so sorry comments. I'm like, this is just how it is. Like, this is just what this life is. But yeah, there's a ton of failure that comes along with this, especially early on when you're trying to get it figured out. So if you're not willing to, take your licks and move on, don't do it. But it's like, we joke about the Moluccans, but like, I'm not gonna ever give up. Like, if it takes me 70 years to produce Moluccan scrubs, it takes me 70 years. Like,
maybe that'll be your IHS talk.
Yeah. At the 100th anniversary, I'm like, when I was 25 years old, I was at this event, or 26, and I was like, maybe one day I'll be able to produce Moluccan scrubs, and 50 years later, I finally did it. I hope that's not my talk, but maybe.
From a captive bred pair produced by Ryan.
We're ending the episode. Fuck you. Oh my God, I'm so scared he's gonna beat me, and he probably will. And I'm gonna be so sad. But you know what? If there's anyone to be bested by, to be defeated by, I'm okay with it being Python Jesus. That's all I'll say. I'm okay losing to Python Jesus. I beat Python Jesus a few times too, so I'll take my W's where I can, but the class double one's personal. But couldn't lose to a better man. So
it's like Kill Bill, except instead of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, it's just the 5 Samalia or 6.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies. It's great.
I feel like you've heard me talk about it before. So, anyway, more practical question down here, Mercedes again. The crest on the sail fins, what is it used for?
I've got no idea.
You think it's more or less like a peacocking kind of
I wish I knew that, or thermoregulation. I don't see why it would. Bacillus have those too. It's like
yeah.
I mean, unless it's because like maybe for a male he wants to display, and then since he's exposing himself to predation, it in turn heats him up faster when he's out first in the morning. So if he does have a predation event, he can book it faster because he's already heated up. Whereas the girls just kind of, they don't have to worry about. I don't know. Nobody really knows. I've tried to research. There's so many theories as to why.
No. Well,
Yeah.
I guess if there's nothing practical, then maybe it is a peacocking kind of thing.
I mean, it's an impressive looking lizard regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's good thing they have it, rather than have it than not, even if it's for no reason. Okay. And then this was back during Daytona talk. I'll be making at least a couple of vlogs from the show, depending on how much I decide is worthy of filming, maybe a third, but I don't know if I want to stretch a Daytona video 3 videos long.
I'll photobomb in there somewhere. You'll be like doing a panorama, and I'm just gonna like put a random face in the corner.
Love it. And then
I'll know. You'll be editing, and you'll be like, "What the heck?"
And then our topics about people thinking that we're short. I guess I'm 6'3". Are you?
No,
you're like about my height, right?
No, I'm shorter than you. I'm like 6'1".
No, no way. You're at least 6'2".
I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess maybe by NBA standards we're still short, but
Yeah, I'm more of a Kayawati, you're the Soleil, but not to make it about rejects. We're both in the Saputrii subspecies though, so we're not in the mainland camp.
No, definitely not. It's just an interesting analogy.
I know.
We're
reptile nerds. That's what we do. You got to compare. Yeah. I say, wow, what do you want me to say? You're not a dwarf. You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. We're in hour 2, ladies and gentlemen. That's when.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Do you remember all of those Scrub Cafe puns from
the Scrub House Cafe? Of course, I have that stuff written down.
Okay.
That was legendary.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, it was like what you had take a seat at the Tannin Bar.
Yep.
Order a Malukan melt, right? So I think instead of I know we had the Tannin Bar, but then you also like instead of like a Whataburger, an Autoburger.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, you don't, bro. Jeez. I cared more about this than you did, and I don't even have scrub pythons.
That was a rough stretch for me back then. I'm surprised I remember anything. Now that we know that I don't think I even knew this locality back then. You could get a Morotai martini at the Tannin Bar with your Malukan melt.
Morotai martini. That sounds delicious, exquisite.
Yeah.
Same. I don't know. What? I guess you could have Southern anything because like Southern fries, Southern chicken. It's just Southern, you know.
But I think the Tannin Bar was definitely the peak play on words. That was definitely the one. So I'm not sure if this in real life
like a Tanamera, I don't know. Gotta be, yeah. Those were like the main 3 that I had though.
Yeah.
Because like I don't really know what you could do with bar neck. Although I guess
burger or something.
Okay, I think that was one on there. I do have it written down.
It's kind of a layup though, but more or less.
Hey, the BNB bar neck burger.
But then you got you got a lot. You got other B's. You got Biak in there. Could be like a Biak banana pudding or something like that for dessert. The Tannin Bar at the Scrub House Cafe.
It's a already bad banana though, since Biaks roll on you so fast. They don't acclimate to captivity.
An overripe banana pudding.
It's an overripe banana pudding. Like a Biak that's just failing to thrive.
Oh my god. That's fucked up.
It is.
That's what they do, though, ladies and gentlemen. If you get into Beox scrubs, be ready for fucking heartbreak.
Yeah. If I have the space, I'll just wait till you produce Wominos again. Sorry, Northerns or whatever they're called now.
That's what we call them now.
Northern scrubs.
We follow.
They are pretty. Yeah. Or if I don't decide to get a pair, whenever you're ready to retire that old male, assuming I have a house, maybe I'll just do like a big living room display and he can live out there for the rest of his days.
Yeah, might take you up on that one of these days.
At this point, I'm becoming your snake retirement house. Yeah, Cave Racer's doing great.
Good.
But
glad to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, their babies are doing well. The pair that I kept, they're like 6 feet now. So the Northerns, yeah, they're doing really well.
When did those have? Those 22 babies?
24.
20. Okay, so you still got a few years before.
Yeah, they were born early May of 2024. So 2 years, 3 to 4 months, and yeah, they're doing well, doing very well. So living their lives. Shoot, man. Anything else you think we should hit on before we fucking call it a
I
day?
wanted to end it on a positive note, given the current state of things that I will not say, for the sake of just not wanting to give that topic attention. What are you honestly? What's exciting you these days? Like if you open Instagram, you're like, man, that's cool. Or, a friend called you and was like, hey, I've got 20 water dragon clutches for the year. And you're like, dude, that's badass. That's like as many scrub python clutches as I've ever had, like hypothetically, of course.
Yeah.
But, it's like, Jen, what are you excited about today? Like not even today, like what has just been awe-inspiring to you?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm excited about stuff I have going on here where like this breeding season has been so far my best one to date, and it's cool to see things kind of come full circle where like I made an effort to whittle down the collection, specialize, and in the hopes that this would be the result, and to see that like not even a full year into that, it's already kind of working. It's pretty cool. I guess, I find myself kind of in like an echo chamber a lot of the time where I don't like see a whole lot, but like seeing everybody have success with scrub pythons this year has been really cool to see. I mean, I don't even know if I could really count, but there's at least like probably 5, 6 people who've also had clutches so far this year, maybe more if I'm not remembering. Want to hit this before I get out of here, or Lisa asked about the Morotai. Yeah, I mean it's
Martini.
The Morotai Martini. I mean it's a locality of Halmahera, of Traceae. It's the most northern ranging Somalia. Morotai is an island off the northern end of Halmahera. I think you would need to do molecular work to be able to say if they're a species or not. I've never had hands on one. I'd love to. Based on what I've seen, though, it seems like behaviorally they're probably similar to Halmaheras. And she asked if it's a pattern morph. No, every picture that I've seen, INAD or otherwise, wild animals, I've seen plenty of pictures of wild Morotais from, pictures that were taken in Indo. It's a unique island locality. Whether or not some of the other northern islands that are near Morotai had that same appearance or not, I couldn't tell you, but it's definitely a unique locality of Traceae.
I wonder if there's sail fins on there, because you got
Probably.
sail fins, and those are on Ternate too, which makes me wonder then, would there be a scrub python on Ternate?
There are scrubs on Bacan, which is right next to Ternate, right?
I have no idea. You would know that.
Well, and I know that the two of them are southern. Ternate is south of Halmahera, right?
No, it's what's it called?
East, west, north,
Yeah,
south.
west.
It's west. Okay.
Never eat. So yeah, it's west.
So I get okay. So Bacan is off the south of Halmahera. There are Traceae on Bacan. I've never heard of scrubs on Ternate, but based on the geography and the range, I wouldn't be surprised.
The sail fins on Ternate look slightly different. They're a lot darker than the mainland Halmahera ones.
I mean, you can also compare the retics that come from both. They look very similar, but have a little slight difference. Yeah, I mean, probably they probably. I would assume that they're there. Um, Maybe just there's been very little. I mean, I didn't even know that there were Bacan Helm or Tracier until like within the last year. I've known of the Moritai animals for a while, but I didn't know that. Like the name, I didn't like. I'd seen animals. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then later kind of pieced it together. But yeah, they're cool. I haven't watched Dan's video yet of the ones that he got, but yeah, they're badass. I really want to get my hands on some. So not pretty cool stuff. But what about you? Like what have you been seeing? What kind of has been getting you all jazzed up about the hobby lately?
Honestly, I feel like it's kind of the opposite of what you were saying, because since I had the heat wave and I was hatching water dragons, but I feel like since my focus sort of was put off on the sailfins because I was so focused on trying to just get the room back dialed in, I actually was spending a little bit more time just on social media, and it's been a good year for sailfins. My buddy and somebody who I've been talking to since I was in college, his name's Duran Gibson. He didn't produce one; he produced 2 clutches of Eastern Microlophus. So it's the largest sailfin, the Sulawesi giant sailfin, and one of the problems is, like I said, I have a male that's a Western. So when I went to Sulawesi, I was trying to figure out. People call them different names in the trade, and I think it's more of a marketing thing. So Duran calls his the Panda Locale, which is just, in a sense, it's another name for an Eastern, right? It's sort of like how we just addressed, like Northern, Wamena, although if I recall correctly, aren't they from Jayapura? But
most probably are, but Wamena has the same phenotype. Yeah.
So I guess the point is like he bred them last year, and then he hatched 2 clutches already this year, which is just huge because, to my knowledge, that's the second time that species has ever been bred in the United States, and the first time was 1 clutch that Scott Corning did in 2006. I've seen physical printed photos of those adults, but he told me he got 1 clutch and then he had a collection fire. So it's really nice to see captive bred specimens, and specimens that are represented by their locality, phenotype, however you want to word it. Just because I have seen people in Europe that they get in a male, what I choose to call a Western Microlophus, and say a female Eastern, and they're just like, well, I'm not going to look for the opposite sex of that type, and so they just throw them together saying, look, I bred Microlophus. It'd be the equivalent. The best way I could describe it for the snake listeners, and from what I've learned from you, it'd be like breeding, say, a Highland scrub to like a Southern pattern type or something. Like they're pretty close, but there's a noticeable difference. So why are they mixed?
Yeah.
But taxonomically, they are considered the same thing currently. That would apply to the Somalia and the Hydrosaurus Microlophus.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that.
Cool.
And then another gentleman from Southern California, Dalton Bilecki, he owns a reptile shop and a sailfin is his logo. He actually bred Moluccan sailfins, which those are arguably the most difficult Hydrosaurus to establish. Just they're smaller, they're flighty, kind of more like a Hypsiluris or even like a Bassus. They don't calm down as easily. And he hatched a clutch of 3 eggs. So again, just seeing F1s, them being produced in the States. So, it's like, it makes me feel bittersweet. Like, man, I wish I would be getting more good clutches, but sort of, I guess, like taking a step back and seeing that there are other diligent keepers working with the Indonesian Hydrosaurus. It gives me hope that one day I'll be able to maybe not even have to deal with imports, and I could just cross off those species starting with captive bred animals, which might speed up my process or slow it down from what you've been telling me with your 2020 holdback scrubs. But just that was definitely the hardest thing that I've been sort of struggling with is, do I try and just get all the Hydrosaurus now? But I have got so much time and effort put into the group of pure documented Philippines. It's like, it's kind of why it's worth holding on to my group of adults that I have.
Yeah.
It just makes me excited to see it.
Yeah.
So
You just need more space.
that's what the move next year is hopefully going to do. It's just,
Yeah.
big steps. Adulting sucks. And keeping reptiles is the only thing keeping me going.
There you go. So, yeah, man. Well, I really didn't think we were going to hit 2 hours tonight, but here we are at 2 hours. Thank you as always for being here. This was a lot of fun. Definitely.
I appreciate you having me on.
Fun
It's
episode.
great chat reptiles, dude. Always.
Absolutely. I mean, when we get on the phone, we're damn near on the phone for this long as it is.
That's,
Anyway.
yeah.
It's not.
And usually when I'm driving, I'm about to run out of fuel and I have to exit. So it's how it goes. But yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't
So, as always, where can people find you?
If you look up Alex's Agamids, Facebook, Instagram, Morph Market, Fauna, YouTube. I'm out there. So if you want to buy a water dragon, please buy a water dragon. I'm about to be swarmed with more. I don't know. If you say you came from the Trap Talk Reptile Network, I'll knock off like $20.
Right.
Special promo for listeners, right?
Hell yeah. Trap Talk 20 at checkout.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate all the support everybody's given me as I progress with my lizard projects. And as always, Steve, I appreciate our friendship, and I appreciate you
Same.
being able to shoot the shit and talk reptiles. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely. It's fun as always. And yeah, man, really appreciate you. And I really appreciate everybody who has checked out the episode. If you made it this far, I'll catch you all back here next